Hello, I'm Ginger, and I'm here today with John Mitchell, the founder of Think It, Be It. So, John, why does Think It, Be It work? Explain in plain English so it's easy for us to understand.
It works because it causes you to simply operate at a higher level. Think about that. You're taking your life and compressing it onto one sheet of paper. You're defining exactly the person you want to be, exactly what you want to accomplish, and exactly how you're going to achieve your goals. Then you read it every day. Of course you're then operating at a higher level, especially when you compare it to the somewhat nebulous approach you might be taking today. It becomes so top of mind. Common sense would tell you that you're operating at a much higher level. How could you not be? How could it not influence your daily thoughts and actions?
I see what you mean. From a common sense standpoint, I see why it works.
Then you add in the compelling science as to why it works. And to show you how credible it is, Time magazine did a cover story on the science behind it. Literally the cover story. How's that for credibility?
Oh, so this really raises your game?
I'll share this to give a little perspective. In my 30-plus years as an entrepreneur, I never had anybody come to me and say, there's a way to substantially up your game, a way to operate at a higher level, much less a way that took only 12 minutes a day. No one ever bluntly told me, even though I was successful, the reason I wasn't more successful was that I was the problem. To have more success, you simply have to raise your game. When I was younger, I just didn't know how to do that. And the great thing about this is it works on everybody because it has compelling science behind it. It can't not work if you read your visualization every day. And it works automatically without thinking. That's the real beauty of it.
But there's more to your program than just reading the visualization. Yes? Explain.
There are three components to the Think It, Be It program. First, the customized visualization that takes 12 minutes a day. Second, the learning from experts on a weekly basis. And third, learning the 10 lessons to being a successful entrepreneur that you don't really learn in school. In this video, we're going to explain why the visualization part of the program works. We've got a separate video on the impact of learning from experts each week and how we do it. And we have another short video on the results to you of learning the 10 lessons of being a successful entrepreneur. You'll want to watch both.
Wow, that really sounds good. Well, discuss why the daily visualization works. A little more.
The average person has less than 20% control over themselves. By using this daily visualization technique, you can typically double that. That's because for the first time ever, you're applying science to your life. You're influencing the part of your brain that controls your everyday thoughts and ongoing actions. Think about that for a second. You're influencing the part of your brain that controls your everyday thoughts and actions for the first time ever. You have a level of discipline and focus you've never really had before. And that's why your control over yourself doubles. But that's only half the equation. When you double your control over yourself and combine it with a vivid vision of the person you want to be, what you want to accomplish, and exactly how you're going to achieve your goals, of course you've raised your game. In fact, you've raised your game big time. That's why you have so much bigger results than you've had in the past.
Now, John, you say that reading your visualization every day allowed you to do things that you could not do before. Explain that.
In my visualization, I read every day what the ideal, perfect me looks like, along with the improvements I want in myself. Then in my career, my succinct business plan, my unique strategy for success, the culture I'm creating in my company, and the 2 or 3 things that move the needle in my business. Also, I clearly define my top 3 goals for the quarter and the key behaviors associated with each goal. When I first started doing this, immediately I saw that I could do things I couldn't do before. It happened because I had immense clarity on what I was trying to accomplish as well as how. and I was laser focused on what moved the needle. And when you have such clarity and focus and combine it with doubling your control over yourself, guess what happens? The needle actually moves and keeps on moving. You have a system for moving the needle.
Well, you mentioned that in each visualization you create, you articulate the client's top 3 goals for the quarter. I'd love to know why that is so impactful.
We implement the goal-setting system created by the top expert in the world on goal setting. Here's how it works. We define your top 3 goals for the current quarter. 1 goal, possibly 2, will pertain to your business. The remaining goals would be in the area of your health and your significant other relationship. We start out by clearly articulating what the goal is, then the why behind each goal. This directly affects your motivation. Then the 2 or 3 key behaviors associated with each goal. And lastly, the time frame and measurement. Then every Sunday, on the bottom of your visualization, we track your key behaviors for the week. The concept behind this is if you do the key behaviors, you inevitably achieve your goals. I can tell you from personal experience and the experience of many others, this absolutely works. It's the tracking of those key behaviors every Sunday. It really affects you. When you're seeing your performance on those key behaviors stacked together week by week, most people have never tried approaching their goals by tracking their key behaviors. And it is really life-altering when you do. And here's something I'd like you to ask yourself. Do you have goals? The vast majority of people will say they do. Therefore, they don't think goal setting is very important to them. But here's what a goal is. It's being very specific about what you want to accomplish, as well as exactly how. Then defining the key behaviors to accomplish the goal and having measurement and a time frame. Now ask yourself if you have goals. A goal without a plan to achieve it, along with a time frame and measurement, is a wish. The point I'm trying to make is that people think they have goals when they really don't. Even really sharp people fall into this. One final point. Goal setting is truly the master skill set you need to up your game, and I incorporate it in your daily visualization.
Well, you also mentioned that you could not only do things that you couldn't do before, but you could also see things you couldn't see before. Now that is really interesting. Please go on more with it.
This happens because you're influencing your reticular activating system, which is the filter through which all information enters your brain. Again, you're using science to your advantage. You're giving your reticular activator a level of clarity it's really never had before regarding what's important to you and exactly how you're going to achieve your goals. That influences big time what comes into your consciousness. And what surprised me was the small, subtle things I began to see that I hadn't seen before. They would show up in conversations I had with people as well as in things I'd read. I didn't pick up those things before I started reading a daily visualization, but I came to appreciate that those subtle things that I was missing before made a world of difference in my success and achievement. It really blew me away how impactful it was to create this immense clarity and focus, and then to see how it played out in real life.
So another thing I understand that happens when reading your daily visualization is that your vision of your business inevitably expands and gets more detailed. Please explain that in more detail. Why does that happen?
I discovered that by reading my vision every day, it gave me a deeper and deeper understanding of my vision. I continually saw it get more nuanced and detailed. I think you'll be able to relate this story to your own business. A little over 10 years ago, I got in the reverse mortgage industry. I had just read the book, Think and Grow Rich, and learned the concept, what you envision in detail on a daily basis is what shows up in your life. So I applied it to my new business. My initial vision for my business was really simple. I wanted to be the biggest reverse mortgage player in the state of Texas and make enough money so I'd never have to work. To accomplish that, I knew I'd have to be great at marketing, great at sales, and really strong on recruitment and leadership. But I didn't really see the details as to how to do all that. So at the inception, my vision of my company was very simple, and that simple vision was included in my daily visualization I would read each day. In that first year, I'm reading my visualization every day. Immediately, I get focused on marketing. I hired a tech guy to build a website and to do a paid search ad, which was really a new concept at the time. Yahoo and Google had just come on the scene. After the first 3 months of my new business, no results from my website, nothing. But every week I'm reading in the Wall Street Journal how paid search worked. Frustrated, the thought crosses my mind that the person I hired may not be competent. From reading the Wall Street Journal, it just didn't seem that hard. So I went to Google and Yahoo directly and created a paid search ad. The headline was, "Reverse mortgage, call this CPA." Immediately, the phone starts ringing off the wall. I go from struggling to do 3 or 4 applications a month to 35 applications a month overnight. I'm doing more reverse mortgages than anyone in the country. So in my daily visualization, I then succinctly articulate my new marketing strategy. And here's really the secret sauce of all this. You'll get the feeling that there is this invisible force pulling your vision forward by virtue of simply reading it every day. When I experienced this myself, only later did I come to appreciate the science behind that.
Well, okay, so to be honest, here's the question we all want to know. How did reading your visualization every morning impact your income?
Ultimately, my company had 170 people in it and became the biggest in Texas, the 4th biggest in the United States. End result was, instead of making $250,000 a year, as I had in my 30s and 40s, in my 50s I was blessed to make $5 million a year. What was I doing differently? I had a continually evolving vision of exactly what I wanted to create and how, and I read it every single day. It was literally that simple. My personal motto became, "What I envision in detail on a daily basis is what shows up in my life." I share this with you as an example of how your vision that you have for your business is literally your most valuable asset.
Well, you mentioned that by reading your vision for your company every day, your subconscious mind works on your vision, constantly.
That's right. And that's the science at work. Your subconscious mind is constantly trying to improve and sharpen your vision. Your creativity will continually be stimulated at a subconscious level. You'll continually see further nuances to your vision. That's the invisible force I mentioned a moment ago that is always pulling your vision forward. This will happen to you, and that continually makes you more and more successful.
But don't most people already have a vision of their business?
Sure they do, but here's the problem. You're most likely to have a nebulous vision of your business and how you're going to be successful. And in that somewhat nebulous vision, there may be flaws. But when you have a vision that is crisp, clear, and succinct, and you read it every day, the vision inevitably progresses much faster than the nebulous vision. You see the flaws quicker and make the refinements quicker, probably 10 to 20 times quicker than when your vision was nebulous. Easy to see how impactful that would be.
The thing I really like is that your methodology is so tangible. You can literally hold it in your hand.
The fact that it is so tangible really is a big deal. Most ways to increase your success and achievement in life are usually just general advice. It's really conceptual in nature, and it's not something tangible. With Think It, Be It, like you said, you literally can hold it in your hand. In fact, you do hold it in your hand every morning.
John, can you give me the recap as to why your daily visualization really ups your client's game?
You go from having a somewhat nebulous vision of what you want and how you're going to get it to a laser-focused, detailed vision. And I show you how to use science to make your vision show up in your daily thoughts and actions. so your vision actually turns into reality. I give you a methodology to apply the science.
Anything else you'd like to share with us?
I'll share a final story with you. Not to overstate this, but I think you'll find this one of the most powerful things you've ever learned. I had the pleasure to personally get to know Darren Hardy. He was the publisher of Success Magazine, and he shared with me an amazing insight. It was his job each month to interview the most successful people on the planet. He did this year in and year out. He said that the two common characteristics that virtually 100% of the mega successful all possessed was this. They had a relentless commitment to growth, and they looked at their detailed goals every day. Think about that for a moment. He held a unique position in the world studying the ultra-successful, and those are the two common characteristics he observed. If you get anything from this video, appreciate that amazing pearl of wisdom. And the significance of that to you is that those are exactly, and I mean exactly, the two things that we create in your life in Think It Be It. You're doing the two things that 100% of the super achievers do, and that's why Think It Be It is so effective.
And I know you actually showed your visualization technique to Darren Hardy. What did he think?
Once I created Think It Be It, I decided I wanted to show it to the top guy in the world in the success and human achievement field. Darren Hardy was that guy. I wanted to go to the top of the mountain. If there were flaws in my visualization technique and system, I wanted to know about it. And I can tell you, Darren Hardy was not easy to get to.
Being the top expert in the world on success and achievement, I'm sure he wasn't. Well, how did you get to him?
Well, let's just say I was creative and was willing to write a big check. But it allowed me to spend 3 days with him, during which I sat down and showed him my visualization technique.
So what did he say?
He told me it was excellent and that it was a tangible way to do exactly what the super achievers do. But he also told me the average person won't spend 12 minutes a day on anything to improve their life. You know, sad but true. He said they were more concerned about comfort than achievement. But he said entrepreneurs will spend 12 minutes a day, and that had to be who this is for.
But he also shared another insight. He said that the limitation in any business is not the competition or external factors, as most would think.
That's right. The limitation in any business is not external, but rather the entrepreneur himself regarding how he or she sees their business and their ability to control themselves. He says all the super achievers understand that they're the biggest problem as well as the biggest opportunity in their business. So you know, if the mega achievers see it that way, you should too. And Think It Be It is a scientific methodology to expand your ability and operate at a higher level.
Well, let's wrap this up. You say success is simple. Explain.
Success is simple. Have a vivid vision of the person you want to be, what you want to accomplish, and your specific plans for achieving your goals. Then read it every single day. What you envision in detail on a daily basis is what shows up in your life. That's the surprisingly simple success formula that takes 12 minutes a day, works on everyone, and has compelling science behind it. This is a practical way to live a life of intention with immense clarity and get spectacular results.
Beautiful. And you have some other videos to watch.
I strongly encourage you to watch the video on how we help you grow intellectually on a week in and week out basis. I explain how and why we provide the growth content each week. I also share with you discovering the success in human achievement field and how that impacts the visualization I create for you. This is stuff you're going to want to know about. Also watch the video on the 10 lessons I teach you that every entrepreneur should know that you don't learn in school. And the video on how we prove Think It Be It works with each individual person. Thank you so much for watching this video.